Welcome back to the Rod Arquette Show here on Utah's Talk Radio 105.9 KNRS. Listen and you'll know. Now, in the coming weeks and coming months, we are going to have a segment on the show called CEOs You Should Know. With Utah's rapidly expanding economy, it is one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the country. There are companies here in the state, startup companies, that are doing a fantastic job. And I want to introduce you now to Joe Woodbury. Joe is the president and CEO of Neighbor. Joe, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us.
Great to be with you, Ron.
All right, now, we want to get to know you a little bit better, so we're going to throw some rapid-fire questions at you and have a little fun. We'll let you relax and have some fun. We call it You in 60. Are you all set to go?
All set.
All right, here we go. Let me get this up and going, and here we are. All right, here we go. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Cup or cone?
Cone.
Baseball, basketball, or football?
Baseball.
Early riser or night owl?
Aspire to be an early riser.
Not succeeding, right?
Not succeeding.
Okay. Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Hiking or biking?
Hiking.
Favorite type of music?
Country or classical.
Okay. Secret talent?
Secret talent. I can play the piano.
Okay. Good. Smartest person you know?
That would be my dad.
Okay. What would you eat for your last meal?
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Really? Oatmeal. Okay. Your first job?
First job was as a ranch hand in a little ranch in Panguitch, Utah.
All right, that's perfect. See, now we get to know you a little bit. You're a rancher. Yep. Your smartest person you know is your dad. I think a lot of people like to say that, either dad or mom.
My dad's name's Rod.
Is it? Rod, there you go. See, we've got a connection already, Joe. Now, let's talk about Neighbor.
Okay.
And, give us a little background as to where you came from and how you all started and what got you interested in something like Neighbor.
So, my co-founders and I had kind of a non-traditional background.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that are starting companies, they start a company, fails, they start another company, they really want to start a company. None of us had planned on starting a company. We were in school. I'd worked for an investment bank and a private equity firm and was headed to work full-time at a consulting firm. Came back after accepting a full-time offer to my senior year at BYU. And my good friend and co-founder, Preston, that same summer, he had gone down to South America to film for one of his clients. He owned a little videography company. And while he was down there, he needed a storage unit. And he looked into getting a storage unit for him and his wife before he left. And had the same experience everyone has. He couldn't find one. The closest one was a 30-minute drive away in the next town, and he was going to have to pay $300 a month as a student. And he just thought, there's no way I'm going to drive and pay that much for this dirty, dingy storage box. And he found a friend that was willing to let him store in his garage. And when he got back, he went to pick his items up, and he just thought, wow, this was such a better experience. I felt so much more peace of mind knowing my items were in a nice, clean garage, and I saved a lot of money. Why doesn't everyone do this? There's got to be an empty garage in every neighborhood in the country. Why isn't there some sort of directory or marketplace for garages? Well, he told me about the idea. I thought it was genius. I went home and told my wife, this is the best idea I've ever heard. And Preston and I and our third co-founder, Colton, we started working on this our senior year in school, started picking up traction, winning some business competitions. And then we all called our full-time jobs that we were very excited for. And we said, hey, we're not going to show up. We started a company instead. So,
how scary is it to start a company?
It definitely requires a little bit of blind faith there. It's a much less predictable path. Especially when we'd started this company, it's not like we had a huge amount of savings all coming out of college, and we were making no money, right? Taking no salary, and I think though when you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to. For better or for worse, those fears kind of go away. I think we probably should have been more scared than we were.
What was it like getting your first client, your first customer?
Well, it felt a little bit contrived. To be totally honest, our first customers were people we knew. It was literally reaching out and saying like, please use this. Especially,
but once you got outside of that, your neighbors, your friends, and these were just customers who you knew nothing about, but they liked the idea. What was that like?
That's a surreal feeling. I remember someone coming up to me, this is back in our first year in 2017, and saying, "Hey, you're one of the creators of Neighbor. I love Neighbor. I've made so much money off of Neighbor. It's changed my life."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know who you are. Like, you're benefiting from this product we built. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah. What exactly is Neighbor? I'm going to ask you right now, if you were to describe what Neighbor is, how would you describe it?
It's a marketplace where people with extra space can list it, and then we'll fill it with people that need space.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take that space that's just sitting unused in your home, maybe an attic or a basement or a garage or a parking spot outside your home, and we can turn it into money.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people out there, you said, is it hard finding storage space? Is there a market need, do you feel? Or are people looking for something closer to home where, like you described earlier, you don't have to drive 30, 40 minutes just to get to your storage unit?
It's absolutely both. So it's Americans spend $40 billion a year on storage.
Mm-hmm.
And we've built so much storage that you could fit every man, woman, and child in the United States in a storage unit. Put another way, there's more storage facilities in the U.S. than there are McDonald's and Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and Burger Kings and Wendy's and Costco's and Home Depot's and Walmart's combined.
Wow.
And yet, you might think with all that space, it's all got to be just sitting empty. There's got to be so much vacant storage space, and it's 95% occupied.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge supply shortage. People just can't find storage units. And they're exorbitantly expensive when you can because of the supply shortage.
I'm intrigued by the name, Neighbor. Where did that come from?
Well, it really kind of ties into our long-term vision for this company. We didn't want to build a company just around the exchange of items.
Mm-hmm.
We really wanted to build a company that was about the people. And in a lot of ways, we're the first local marketplace. You know, when you stay in an Airbnb, you're usually traveling to another city. You may have this great multicultural experience, exposure to new people, but you're probably never going to talk to your Airbnb host again. Same with an Uber. You know, when you don't have a car in Chicago and you need to travel, you might take an Uber, but you're never going to form a relationship. But our customers, we have users now in every city and every state in the country, and those people are often neighbors, and they've never really talked to each other much before, because that's just how we are in today's society. And then they get on Neighbor's platform and they book each other's space and they start to talk, and they have a 6-month or a 12-month or a 3-year transaction, and they start to build a relationship. And we think those relationships are so important. And so that's why we called it Neighbors, because we want to build a company that's building communities and strengthening those neighbor relationships.
Mm-hmm. You started this company, like you said, you know, the three of you, y'all quit your jobs and said, here we go, we're going to try this.
Yeah.
What recommendation would you give to somebody out there who thinks they may have an idea that could be successful, yet they're going, I don't know if I want to take that first step, you know? What would you say to them?
Well, I think that's half the battle, is having that idea. You know, a lot of people, they're like, I really want to start a company for starting a company's sake. And I just don't think that gets you very far. But then there's another group of people that they see a problem, they see a pain, and they're like, this has to be solved. For me, for me personally, I believe this needs to be solved. That was my co-founder Preston's experience. He tried to get storage. It was a painful, painful experience, and he set out to solve it. And I think that's where the best businesses are built. So I'd say, like, if you're feeling pain and you feel like you have a solution to solve that, chances are a lot of other people are feeling that same sort of market pain. And that's where you should feel really confident about. Just dive in and solve that, because if you're solving a problem for yourself, you're solving a problem for other people.
So take the leap is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, take the leap. Joe, it's been great knowing you and getting to know a little bit about Neighbor.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more information about it, where do you have a website? Where do you recommend they go?
We make it easy. It's just neighbor.com. You can search Neighbor on the App Store if you got a phone and download our app. So it's very easy. And again, we're in every neighborhood, in every city, in every state in the country. So we're definitely near you.
Joe, it's been great meeting you. Joe Woodbury, he currently serves as co-founder and chief executive officer of Neighbor. Check it out at neighbor.com. You've been listening to CEOs You Should Know right here on the Rod Arquette Show and Talk Radio 105.9 KNRS. Listen and you'll know.